Hello my lovelies. Welcome. So I'm out for a quick walk this morning. I can't seem to share this video as well in my groups. It's not working. But I'm in the woods. I needed to clear my head. Last night was a bit psychedelic. I've been feeling like I realised I watched my own video that I did in the vortex in Connemara last night again, because I was going through stuff after Connemara. Felt really clear, really beautiful, and then it was like a brick hitting me, and I couldn't understand why I was feeling so bleh, right yesterday, exhausted, not normal exhaustion, like no reason. And I was asking, what is this? Is there energies on me? Am my body clearing? What's happening? Am I getting attacked? Like, I was just going through a list of things. And felt super tired. Now I realized I did start a little bit of a detox. So I was like, maybe this is, you know, a die off or a release, a clear, like day 3 of your detox, right? Although I think I was only on day 2. And I couldn't figure out what was going on last night. And then I read people's comments under the Connemara post, and they're like, since that, there's been so much coming up. And then I watched it myself again, going, maybe I need to watch this from my, like, a different perspective. So I watched it again, and holy hell, the energies came through again from that vortex. And information came through, and I realized what I had said, because you know, when you challenge stuff, you don't always remember it. And then I was like talking about the brain fog in the message. While I was in the water, I was talking about all these things that are going to come up between the full moon and between then, which is last week, and the full moon, which is next Wednesday, and also then the 30th, 31st, the veil thinning. And I talked about parasites coming up, I talked about die-off, I talked about implants, entities, attachments, all these things, right? And I'm going to give you a little view of the water as I'm saying this. All these things coming up to the surface because there's a massive influx of energy from above and below once again. And that influx is creating this within our ecology. And I used the word ecology as well last week. And it's not a word I technically use with my body, but that's what came up. Earth is going through a massive ecological shift. Our bodies are as well. And that has to do with our good bacteria in our bodies, our not so good bacteria in our bodies. If we have overgrowth or undergrowth or imbalance in the gut area, and recognize that there's like a gut, brain, heart link, okay? And gut is where our womb is if you're a lady, but hara if you're a man, and that's your space of creation as well. So there's a lot of energy there. And I'm having a shift in my gut, my brain, hence the brain fog, and the energy again. And I don't know if it's because the diet changed when I came back to Ireland. It's not what I was eating in Spain. I eat a lot more bread here. And I think that definitely had wheat had an issue with me. And I've had sugar because I've gone out for meals with some peeps, some friends. So I realised like, oh, really affecting me right now. Whereas before it might not have to the same extent. And that is because of the energy as well. I cannot seem to digest. And I'm just saying that out loud because some of you might be experiencing the same thing as well. Our bodies are ecologically maneuvering right now in preparation for this full moon and the last bit of release. It's another release at a physical level. We're upgrading again. Super uncomfortable. Last night, I woke up in the middle of the night. Again, my gut was going cracked. And then I tapped into an energy way out in the ethers, either the fourth dimension or you could say above earth, whatever way you want to say that. And this energy was calling for help. And it was, how I would describe it is, and I've come across quite a few of these in the last year, these beings making themselves known in EQH sessions as well, quantum sessions. They look like octopi, and there's so many different races of them. And some are super friendly and some are not. Some are super high vibrational and some are less. There's no bad or good or anything when I say that, it just is. It's an evolutionary journey that they're on, and they're on off-planet, other universe, and some of them have been to Earth, and they kind of look like our octopi here. Super intelligent, huge hearts, most of them that I've encountered so far. The one that came to me was being controlled, and it was being controlled by a parasitic element. And this is where it gets a bit woo-woo, folks. It was being controlled by a parasitic element from another dimension, if you want to call it that. Part of what you might call the entity shite, dark forces, whatever, you know, not such a high consciousness. And it had implanted something in the back of its mind. And I also saw a physical implant within it, AI. And it reached out, literally, I felt tentacle in me, on my gut, where, you know, it was right in me, and I could feel and hear its thoughts, and it was showing me that it was being used to attach to loads of other people, humans, places, things, and it was being controlled, not of its own volition, not of its own free will, by this parasitic element. But it was using it and its gifts as a food resource because it could sucker onto so much things really quickly. I don't know how to say this in a way other than what I'm describing, you know. And there was in a big distress around this being, this poor, beautiful, it really was a beautiful being. So we had a little conversation, and I spoke to its implant. That was easy enough to release, the AI. And then that thing that was attached to it at the back of its consciousness, right, where back here, that thing was a little more sticky, a little more slidey, slippery. And if you remember, I made a couple of posts about these things, and I had a download a couple of days about a level 3 for light language. And in the level 3 for light language, we're going to be covering a lot of how you release these things from people, how you release them from animals or places or things where they're trying to control power spots in the earth. Interdimensional as well, so it's not just on planet stuff. Some people do a lot of off planet stuff with this kind of thing too. There may be timeline things that you do regarding this as well, like you might go to a certain point in time, shift and change something, and it affects the ripple now. This is super like overlaid and quite difficult to comprehend with our linear mind, so release the linear mind when I talk about this. Part of the download I got is around how to train others, essentially, and show them methods and techniques that are going to be easily replicatable to do this type of work, if it's aligned with them. Not every soul does this kind of thing, by the way. But because of, I'm going to take a breath because there's some energies coming through right now. Because of the energies, as I talk about it, I can feel it. I'm going to go against the tree. Woo! Because of the openings that are happening right now and the energy influxes, this information is going to be made available. It's going to be activated within others as well, and you're going to see a lot more shit, okay? As more light comes through, more shit comes up to the surface. It's like if you're in a dark, danky home for eons on end and there's no electricity, you're only working by candlelight, and then people turn on the lights, you go, oh God, there's so much dust. Okay, look at the corners. The corners are filthy. The windows are filthy. I never noticed this when I was just in candlelight. Right? Does that make sense? It's the same thing. Okay, we're electrifying all fields right now, which means we're going to see everything. Nothing can hide. And it's been hiding a long time. I don't know if this is even working. I hope it is. Ciao, kiana mano ukoye tiamana nano ukodiata. Ia chaka taye ne mano ukoye. So I wanted to share a bit of that. We released the parasitic energy, and I just saw a lot of the collective get dropped. And that's people that have been asleep, that have been fed on, that have been used AI-like, right? They haven't even been in their full consciousness. They've been manipulated into creating decisions not in their highest good, perhaps with others or themselves or whatever their purpose is on earth. They've been dropped by that being that came through last night. This is super exciting. It means there's a pile of awakenings that are just happening again this week, but it's also going to mean a lot of dazed and confused people. A lot of people have not, how do you say that? Chills. A lot of dazed, confused people. And if you can remember what it was like for you when you woke, it's going to be like for that. For them, quite disorientating. And maybe part of your calling is to help facilitate and ease through, with ease and grace, that they're able to move through that awakening, move into their heart, move into their true calling, and this whole gut-brain balance thing and the physical body, right? They're able to actually embody their truth and connect with their creation point in harmony. They're not just operating from up here, right? And with that, whatever has not been recognized within them, it's going to come up, and it's going to be probably quite uncomfortable, maybe devastating for some people, maybe heartbreaking, but it's always in their highest good, right? You might even be feeling some of this right now at a different level. I know I'm going through, you see me get emotional there. I'm definitely moving through stuff while I'm home. And I'm booked my flights back. This land works on you, girls and lassies and lads. I'm going to take a breath in because there's a hot energy running through. I was contemplating to do a transmission for the full moon next week. I'm traveling, that's the only thing. And I have a dear friend with me, and I need to check in with her if she'd be okay to do it with me. I feel it's another release of energy entities. Specifically, we're going to look at implants, AIs, entities, attachments. This will be in the etheric realms, the astral realms, karmic, ancestral, up in the high blueprint, soul star chakra and above. We're also going to go through the timelines, and we're going to go into the body itself. So I talked about my own body going through a lot of shifting while I've been here, releasing stuff, even that energy entity that came to me in the dream, right? And how we'll do that together. And the words that have been coming up has also been, as this stuff is releasing, and some of us mightn't even be conscious it's happening, it's just happening while you're sleeping, right? I'm aware of it happening at night, sleeping. So you might wake up feeling different. You might up feeling like you've had a hangover. Part of that is also because once you release something, residue and biofilm, that word kept coming up. I had to Google, what the hell is a biofilm? And supposedly it's linked into bacteria, fungi and parasites. If you actually had them in your own body, they leave a biofilm, which is really hard to penetrate, and for the body to release, it's like a toxic thing. And the body needs facilitation, like pure water, healthy diet, probiotics, blah, 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 frequencies, with the machines, Rife machines and other machines like that as well. So sound therapy, that kind of thing, right? So that's been coming up. We might need a bit more support, gut-wise, emotionally wise, physically wise, right now in this point in time. Bring your awareness to it. Ask your own body, is it true of you? It may not be for most people. If you've been, doing a lot of this work already, you could be totally fine right now, or it could be another level you're tapping into. For me, it feels like a retracing, and I used that word before because often you heal a lot of stuff. And sometimes when you go into the deeper layer, it's called retrace. You'll have something old pop up, and it'll pop up but not at the same extremity, and it'll go away really quickly. So I've had some weird stuff go on in my own body like that, and I recognize it's retracing. I'm healing, I'm releasing very quickly, very rapidly, and it's intense. I recognize I'm getting prepared as well. It's humbling. And yeah, I have a very hot ear right now. There's something here. I'm going to check in. What is here, please? They're whispering in my ear. So there's a beautiful elemental beings all around us here. I'm going to bring us on a little walk. Sua'aka tiakana kiakata epiko asata yama ati. Utukuno yama halawaraka sutukutu yashatakata itimana a. Rohosotokuri hatatarakia hanta rihataye. The Emerald Dragon of Ireland wants to make herself known. She wants to come into your heart and she wants to activate you. Rukutoku shutapa atati mahalai. Rahasaka maha hehe kwa satayeti. Rukutoku shutoko ototi imna hatakia sataka. Uchku mahaye. She wants you to feel her rumble. Rokoni mala rahala kia la rakala hala. Rohola hamla here hala harakale. Rohola mahala hala kali 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 marha kali amalhori mana halakai. Ooh She's talking about the respect. She's commanding respect of the mother. Respect of the waters. There's quite like a forceful energy. Respect of the lands. Respect of thine own sovereignty and body and mind. Your thoughts. There's another energy coming in there, an ancient, to explain about thought processes being affected by the energies I've just been speaking about. There's a hijacking that is being undone. Just inviting deep breathing. So I'm going to finish this and see is it working. But thank you for joining me.